Hello everyone, welcome to Scorched Earth Toys at anymoon.com's review of Bandai's 160DX VF-25G Michel Custom Renewal toy. This is the VF-25G released in September 2012 for 14,000 yen, not the March 2009 release that cost 16,000 yen. That March 2009 release included super parts. The Renewal version does not. Those were purchased separately if you wanted them from the Tamashii Nation's website. Since I have reviews already of other Renewal VF-25 toys, and since this isn't markedly different from those, I am going to gloss over many of the features. If you're curious on how these toys differ from the original releases, check out my Evolution video. If you want to see just kind of the standard feature suite, check out my video review of the VF-25F and S toys. Otherwise, I'm going to focus here on really just what sets the VF-25G apart from the various other releases. Alright, a little fun fact before we get started. For some reason, and I haven't quite figured out why, the VF-25G Michel display stand is different from the standard release display stand. They've added a little extension with little tabs that fit into the little crotch locking mechanism up in front of the plane. So that obviously would make for a more secure connection. But you can put Michel on the previous display stand and he seems to fit just fine. So random trivia for you. You can't have a VF-25G Michel Custom without having the big sniper gun. So Bandai gives us the big sniper gun, but they make it a little too big, and that has been a common problem for Bandai. Just about all their VF-25G toys have outscaled the gun. The gun's probably closer to 148 scale rather than 160 scale, but apparently Bandai likes it that way. The gun features a grip that can adjust, so you can kind of sweep it back for fighter mode if you wanted to, or if you've got the toy in Batroid or Gearwalk mode handling the gun, you can use this to get that right angle that you want. It also has a scope that extends upward, a pump action, as well as the little protrusions that come out, probably to support the gun. Sometimes we saw that against like a stray asteroid in the show. Everything moves well enough. The gun comes back together better than my version 1 sniper rifle ever did. The plastic has some points where it looks a little cheap, has some obvious swirls to it. So not the best quality, but certainly detailed well enough for the DX toys, and I liked it well enough. On a standard Renewal VF-25 toy, like a VF-25F Alto version, if you flip the toy over, there's a little slot between the forearms where you can peg in a gun. On the Renewal VF-25G toy, there's a bracket. This bracket is integral. It's attached to a swing arm that's attached to the back of the plane right now, and it's got this articulated point here. There's a fork in the back and a fork in the front. The fork in the back connects to this little slot right here, and the fork in the front goes right on the little pole that this slides on here. So all you do is apply pressure, and it'll clip in like so. When it is clipped in, the toy can roll freely. You can see that the gun is too big, as I pointed out earlier. It goes way to the back of the plane. There you go. So now it's in. It looks good. One other thing to point out, you might have noticed that the gun's a little crooked on this. It's soft PVC included with the Michel toy and the later VF-25A toy. There's also a stiffer gun. So if yours comes a little crooked, you can always put that stiffer gun on. I mentioned that I was going to gloss over the standard Renewal VF-25 gimmicks, but I will touch on them here briefly. You have removable intake covers. Bandai kind of forgot to paint the interior dark on these, so it looks pretty terrible. I mentioned previously that the gun can fit with the landing gears out. The landing gears are articulated. The rear landing gears do lock into place. The front landing gear has an articulated tow bar. The canopy opens, revealing the pilot figures. The cockpit is a optional 1 or 2 seat variant on all of the Renewal VF-25s. There's a little cover that would cover this back seat. VF-25G comes with a Michael and Ronka figure, as we saw in the Gallia 4 episode where Michael flew Ronka to Gallia 4. Alright, that about does it. Let's go ahead and check out Gearwalk mode. Here we have Gearwalk mode, and there's really no surprises in the transformation to Gearwalk mode for the VF-25G toy. It's no different from what you'd expect for the VF-25S or S. What is nice to see is that the arm that holds the back of the Gearwalk toy up by connecting to the crotch mechanism is the same arm that slid through the forearms in fighter mode to give you that gun connector. And it has this articulated piece now, so you could take the gun and using this top notch, which we hadn't used before, in fighter mode we use this front notch. Using this top notch, you can connect the gun in Gearwalk mode underneath and stow it like so. Obviously, or you could just put the gun in the toy's hand. Alright, let's check out Batroid mode. Alright, here we have Batroid mode. I've connected the grappling hooks that come with this toy. They feature a little claw that opens up like so, or closes. They attach to the toy via long wires. You have to bring the wire up from behind the chest, and that gives it a little support so it stays upright as it extends forward. These parts attach just to the arm, or behind the arm, on the canopy swing. So there you go, it's just this little piece right there. An accessory that you will only get with Michael's VF-25G. Now, it should be noted that the gun is pretty heavy, and these toys have a tendency to get loose. So what's going to happen, and it's starting to happen on my toy, is that it won't be able to hold the gun anymore. You'll have to, well, there you go, found a spot. But in certain positions, the weight of the gun is going to bring that arm swinging downward. So you might find ways to tighten that joint up, you might not. While overall, the crotch on the Renewal toys stays locked in much better. My Michael toy is the worst offender in having the crotch unlock. Not really sure why that is. I think it's just a tightness issue. Probably just a factory. Some are tighter than others. Overall, Batroid mode on the Renewal toys is awesome. Articulation is great. Ball joints at the hips, ball joints in the ankles. Let you really pull off some sweet poses. You have the twist points in the knees. You had a new articulation point out that way. See my review on the VF-25F or the Evolution video again for a full rundown on articulation. One last gimmick to point out, you could fit the dagger in the shield. Again, I'll show you that in other videos. Overall, the VF-25G is a pretty great toy. I highly enjoy it, and I recommend it if you are a fan of the Michel Custom. Check out my full post on anymoon.com. Thanks for viewing.